everybody, I'm Byron Lazine, joined as always with Tim Bray. This is Real Estate Raw and Uncut, episode 26. Thank you for joining us. It's the one show. There's no BS, there's no realtor fluff, just the facts. We're giving it to you straight every single Friday. Please, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. If you're watching it somewhere else, get on YouTube and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss a show. Every single Friday, sometimes a bonus episode, every once in a while. Subscribe up. If you're watching on Facebook, we're putting those natively through Facebook right now. Comment in Facebook, comment in YouTube. We want your feedback, we want your questions, and we want your opinions. And today,
if I don't like the topic that you say today, I'm not gonna.
You're gonna change it?
No, I'm just not gonna talk.
Today's topic is one that's gotten a lot of news this week. ZillowGroup, the new powerhouse company in real estate. The acquisition went through. Trulia, Zillow, they are now under one company called ZillowGroup. Spencer Raskoff, is he the most powerful guy in real estate today?
He thinks he is.
Yeah. Well, they've got all the online traffic. They're over 65% of the online traffic. You've got Realtor.com trying to make a comeback. What does this mean for agents and the consumers? We've talked about the big changes coming. Go back to 2 episodes, episode 24. We kind of touch on this stuff with big changes in the real estate industry. The next 36 months are very interesting. What's going to happen? Who really is in control? Is it ZillowGroup?
I think the agents are scared to death.
Yeah.
I think the headlines that are out there are, this is a big company. Mm-hmm. But I think what people have to realize is that Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, they are conduits. They're a vehicle, and they're a vehicle to get good information or information to the consumer. Yeah. But that's it. I said,
you're only as good as your information that you're providing the consumer. So where has Zillow and Trulia historically gotten their information? They get it from some of the MLSs. They get it from some of the brokerage websites.
Assessment as
and
well.
A lot of their listings were coming from ListHub, which has now ended. So Realtor.com, which was just bought up by Rupert Murdoch and News Corp, they also own ListHub. Mm-hmm. And ListHub has supplied Trulia and Zillow with a lot of their listings. So Zillow right now is working very hard to get MLS direct feeds.
Right.
As agents, we're giving the MLS the information. And then the MLS disseminates it to a Zillow or to a Trulia if that MLS chooses to.
When I was with CoStar Group, which is the country, and actually it's global now as far as dissemination of commercial real estate information.
They own LoopNet.com. If you guys are checking out commercial real estate, you're familiar with that. They own Land and Farm.
There was fear out there. When we went from Washington, D.C. to Boston to New York to Philadelphia to Dallas to Pittsburgh, when we started going out across the country and aggregating databases from Cushman & Wakefield, C.B. Richard Ellis and whatnot, there was a fear in the marketplace that CoStar was actually going to have all the information and start doing the deals, actually doing the transactions. So cut out the agent and go direct. My issue with that, and this is what I feel...
And that's the fear happening right now.
So let's look at
with a lot of agents on Zillow and
where's the information come from?
It's coming from the agent one way or another. So the agent feeds a ListHub, or the brokerage feeds a ListHub or a Zillow or a Trulia or Realtor.com or the MLS. So, and all that information comes from the agents working with sellers.
Absolutely. So let's use CoStar, and let's make it analogous with Zillow. Mm-hmm. Those are roles. They're an awesome portal of information. They're a Rolls Royce. But the information that's being fed to those is what makes them so good.
Yeah.
So if we have a Rolls Royce here and we have a Honda Civic here and we're gonna have a race, and
I'll drive the Rolls Royce.
you can be in the Rolls Royce
you want
because
the
my
Civic?
Honda Civic's gonna have gas, and your Rolls Royce is gonna have nothing.
I should have brought my Prius with the I won't need gas.
But the Civic's gonna win every time.
Yeah.
So what this
If it's got gas
if
and
it's
you're
got
on
gas.
E in the Rolls Royce.
So this is an information. We're talking about information here, and who controls the information. So if you as an agent feels that you are going to put your information into the MLS makes the decision that they're going to give that information to Zillow. Great, their information is going to look great. The consumer's going to love the way it looks. But let's say we, as an MLS, not necessarily an agent, or the agents could individually do it, but I'm not sure that individually not putting your information to the MLS would be good for your client.
Right.
Not the MLS decides, look, we're not going to give the information to Zillow anymore. What happens? Zillow is worthless.
Yeah, their value is gone.
So Zillow,
Because if they're not accurately, and we already know not all the listings are accurate, and the reason is they're pulling from so many different places. They're not pulling directly from the MLS all the time. So they're pulling from somebody's brokerage site or list hub in the past. So when it goes through 2-3 different portals before it gets to Zillow, that's where you're seeing a lot of misinformation happen.
so how do we solve the problem? Want me to take a stab?
Yeah, take a stab at this one.
I'm going to use CoStar Group as the
Yeah.
as the means or my information. Top brokerage companies, Realogy, everybody get together.
Yeah.
Everybody sit around in a group and see if you can get the majority of the listings in the country.
So you're saying the top brokerages are Realty, which owns
Keller Williams, William Ravis,
Coldwell, Sotheby's, William Ravis, all these guys.
get together and make a decision not to give your information to the local MLSs anymore. Done. Create your own portal in which you're going to disseminate the information. Now that doesn't necessarily get disseminated straight to the public. So now you have control over the data. So if you have control over the data, you can now empower your agents, give them all the information. The consumer doesn't need everything unless your agent wants to put it out there, in some other source or whatnot, and take the power back. Let the agents, similar to CoStar Group. CoStar Group is they're empowering the commercial real estate brokers across the country.
So CoStar Group has helped increase the value of a commercial agent
Absolutely. Over time.
over time.
And I think it's really cleaned up the commercial real estate industry, and it's made the mom and pop shop able to compete with a Cushman & Wakefield, an NAI, a Colliers, because they have the same information.
Has it helped the consumer?
Absolutely.
Because I think that's why Zillow's been so successful, is the consumer has had access to more information than they used to back when the Realtors had this book and they held everything tight to the vest and they didn't let the consumer have any information unless they created a relationship with
I agree.
ex-Realtor.
Now, the only way that the agent could get taken out of the mix here, which is the fear of all the agents, is if every single homeowner in this country agreed to give Zillow their information. Now, here's the problem.
How accurate would that
I'm going to
information
sell my
be?
property, right? And it's in the best. So Zillow's saying that the price per square foot is X.
Yeah.
And so now I'm in control as the homeowner of putting my property on there and saying that, it's got 2,000 square feet.
Yeah.
They have control. They could say it's 2,500 square feet.
That's right.
They could start fabricating everything.
So now when you go, if you're for sale by owner or something, and in that scenario, if you're doing your inspections as the buyer, are you requiring now to measure the entire property for square footage because you don't believe the information that's out there?
The appraiser would have to do the actual square footage of that home and do a floor plan, do the exterior walls, and actually do it.
It should be accurate in the town.
A lot of times it's not.
Right. And that's the problem. There's information everywhere, and I think that's why it's critical to have a third party that can kind of ease the burden on who's being truthful in selling their property and who's not. And those are the agents. Those are the people that have made this work over the years.
I think things are changing, like you said, but I think if we start taking this thing apart and really dissecting it, I think that the value of the really good agent who's a fiduciary can actually increase in the next 36 months.
It's going to increase with these changes. That's what we've been talking about. We've been saying there's huge opportunity, and we can see it. It's a lot of change always scares people. People don't want to change. I think, like you're talking about, if you understand where the information's coming from, especially if you're an agent, then you'll be able to wrap your mind around what's going to happen over the next 36 months. Don't fear the change. Embrace it.
We may get new variables tomorrow. You and I may be sitting here and a few variables change, and our whole perspective shifts.
Absolutely.
But we need to be able to do that.
Right. You need to stay up on this stuff, because if you are an agent, you got to know what the best way to add value to the consumer is. And Zillow and Trulia, they believe they're doing a great job of adding value, but we talk to consumers every day, and they're getting some information, but there's a lot of misinformation.
I'll tell you what, I'll make a statement right now that should the top brokerage firms out there agree to create their own portal and share the information with that, and not allow it to go to the MLSs and go to Trulia or Zillow, which is now one,
right.
I would short that stock in a heartbeat.
The Zillow stock.
Absolutely.
Short it, baby.
There's a lot of hype going on right now, but I'll be watching this thing. Maybe I should buy right now. Get ready to short it.
Hey, ZillowGroup, don't believe all the hype if you're an agent that they're going to put you out of business. Like Tim mentioned before, they're only as good as the information that they receive. So if we stop putting gas in that car, it's going to break down. It's not going to run. All right? But understand your value. Continue to give to the consumer. Those are the agents that are going to win. If you got any questions about this, please drop them in the comments. If you've got a comment about what we should talk about next week, let us know. I'm Byron Lazine. You can find me anywhere at Byron Lazine.
T. Bray, SeaportRE.com.
Take care, guys. See you next Friday.